The European Union vows to give Ukraine €1.5 billion every single month starting next year. The President of the European Union Commission announced that the bloc will give Kiev €18 billion next year while it continues to fight Russia. Ursula von der Leyen, who is not elected by the way, pledged during the second day of the EU Leaders Summit in Brussels, where further support for Ukraine is being discussed according to a report by Reuters. It's very important for Ukraine to have a predictable, stable flow of income, she said. And she added Ukraine estimated its monthly needs at €3 to €4 billion for the basics. Anti-war reports so far this year, the bloc has provided Kiev with €19 billion. Looking ahead to 2023, the EU is committed to give Ukraine €1.5 billion per month. The remaining monthly welfare for Ukraine's government is expected to come out of the American taxpayers' pocketbooks and international institutions, according to von der Leyen. As Americans and Europeans alike struggle amid skyrocketing inflation, soaring energy prices, I had someone comment me yesterday that her friends in Germany with a newborn child don't have any way of heating their home, and they're freezing already. And they don't know how they're going to pass the winter like this. It's just not going to be possible. So soaring energy prices, their governments appear dead set on continuing to pour tens of billions of dollars into Ukraine to fund its government and keep NATO's proxy war going. It's very important for Ukraine to have a predictable, stable flow of income, von der Leyen said. The thing is, though, that a lot of people believe, that Americans especially, that it's just a hole of an abyss, because nobody knows where all this money is going to in Ukraine. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelinsky addressed the EU leaders at the summit and made several demands. He wants, quote-unquote, new powerful sanctions levied against Russia and Iran. Zelinsky blames Tehran for Moscow's drone attacks, but there is no definitive evidence that the Iranians sold Moscow these weapons. Despite repeated denials from Russia and Iran, the EU, as well as the UK, imposed fresh sanctions on Iran this week over allegations of Russian-Ukraine using Iranian drones over Ukraine. Moreover, Zelinsky asked for the EU for more air and missile defense systems. In recent weeks, Berlin sent the first of 4 Iris-T air defense systems, and Paris pledged more anti-aircraft systems. And Zelinsky also warned that Russia's increased air attacks on infrastructure in Ukraine, which is being provoked by unrepeated Ukrainian terror attacks shelling inside Russia, will lead to a refugee crisis in Europe. European Union Commissioner von der Leyen said, Russian terror against our energy facilities, she calls them is aimed at creating as many problems as possible with electricity and heat for Ukraine this fall and winter, so that as many Ukrainians as possible move to your countries. This is what Zelinsky told EU summit. EU is now looking at ways to assist Ukraine to restore power, electricity, and water supplies, von der Leyen said. Concurrently, the German parliament approved a massive €200 billion rescue package to help households and companies as they endure the energy crisis caused by the Washington-led sanctions blitz on Russia. And before the conflict began, Russia provided roughly a third of Europeans' gas, and Germany depended on Moscow for more than half of its gas supplies, 50% plus. After Nord Stream pipelines were sabotaged, Russian President Putin offered to ship gas to Europe via an undamaged line at Nord Stream 2. This offer was quickly rejected by Germany. This is by Neam Harris on News Punch. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.